Hello everyone and welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. In today's video we are going to be talking about the Shrine. This is our newest building spotlight. It's a building that is very important and sometimes ignored by players, but you really need to know what this building's all about because there are some really essential features, especially for the end game. We're going to start off by talking about daily rewards, which is pretty simple, I'll say there. Then we're going to talk about Poem of History, and lastly we're going to talk about Offering. So let's start off by talking about the daily rewards. When you log into the game, other than getting spammed with purchase options and all kinds of things that you can do, you'll eventually get to the daily rewards picture that looks something like this if it's the first time you've logged in that day. What this basically does is it offers you one gift just for logging in on that day. So if it's the first day that week that you logged in, you get the 500 gems, for example. If it's the second day, you'll get this resource speed up. If it's the seventh day, you'll get the 2,000 gems. If you, for example, log in day one, you don't log in for another couple days, and then you come back, you're going to get the day 2 reward. It won't jump ahead to the fourth day or the fifth day, whatever day of the week it is. It's number of days that you have logged in that week. There are also 2 different levels of daily rewards. If you are seeing something that is a little different than this, you're seeing like 200 gems and some speed ups and 1,000 gems down here, then you're on the lower level. And the reason you're there is because you're not offering enough. If you look at the explanation here for number 3, it says when your total times you offer a tribute reaches 7, the next round of 7-day daily rewards will be upgraded. So if you want to get to the ones that I'm at here, you just have to do 7 offerings per week. That's all. It's not too hard. You can do all 7 in one day. You can do 1 every day. It's really up to you. I do far more than that, and I'll talk about that later. I'm not going to talk about all the individual things, but they're not substantial. They're not huge rewards that you get every day, but it does add up. I mean, if you play this game for an extended period of time, an extra 2,500 gems, for example, and an advanced city teleporter every single day, 24-hour truce agreement. These things do come in handy. You do want a pretty good stockpile of them, so it's definitely worth collecting those every single day. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the Poem of History. If your Poem of History looks different than this, you're probably on a newer server than I am. I have a bouncing scroll because it is complete. If you are on a newer server, you probably see something like this. And what it actually is a series of quests that you can complete to get a whole lot of different rewards. And it's kind of like the growth and the progression of a server, and as you get to the end, you get nicer rewards. And it is some good stuff, actually. I do appreciate some of these rewards. When this was actually released, all of this was pretty much true for our server, so we kind of just like clicked claim, 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 and it was pretty much over in a day. But for newer servers, I can imagine the extra rewards for completing Poem of History is very beneficial. The most important thing about the Poem of History is not what you get as rewards as you go through the quest, but what happens at the end. After you've completed the Poem of History, you can now take part in battlefields, Constantinople and Gaugamela. And this battlefield building at the bottom will become active. You can take part in these, and that's some of the end game stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of world PvP and server war and stuff that you might have access to already, but the battlefields are where we have ranking systems across all the servers. I mean, there's just so much going on. You get different types of currency. You get these badges. You get these dragon crystal, dragonstone things, and you can upgrade dragons. Like, there's so much that happens because of the battlefield, so you definitely want to unlock that as quickly as possible to take part in those. One other thing that it does unlock is the ability to complete the Arch of Triumph for your server. I'm going to go into details here, and you'll see that the Requirements for unlocking the Arch of Triumph are that the server has to have one victory, and that somebody on the server has to have opened a wonder. And the third and fourth requirements are that one person has to have ranked in the top 300 of each of these battlefields for a season, like for the complete season, not just like one battle, but a full season of 4. So once all this has been completed just once by people on the server all working together, then the entire building is unlocked for every single person on the server, even if you're keep 1. And that's pretty cool, because if you are a lower level keep, you're not likely going to finish in the top 300 and see your name up here in the Arch of Triumph. But what you do get to do is send flowers. It sounds kind of cheesy, and I mean, it kind of is funny, but you go in here, you click send flower, you can send flower to whoever you want. It doesn't really have any real impact. Those players get nothing out of it except a little recognitions from the flowers here, but you get something. So when you do send flowers, and you can do that every single day 3 times, you get these little bags, and I don't have any here, I don't believe, that I can open up. But they're these little blue bags, and just by opening them, you have a chance of getting things like speed ups and stamina, which I think is something that I wish I got every single time. Stamina is hard enough to get, and just knowing that there's an extra source here is reason enough to come here and spend 30 seconds clicking click, click, click. I mean, it doesn't even take 30 seconds, but yeah, click, 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 and you have a chance at getting a 50 stamina, 100 stamina, or, I mean, 0. But it is a chance. So stamina is definitely something that you want to start accumulating at even a very low level keep. So let's go back to the Poem of History here. I'm going to go back to the shrine and look at Poem of History. So if you see the quests like this, then you're on a newer server. But if you are joining an old server, let's say you make a keep on server 30. If you did that, you would just have a bouncing scroll, and there's nothing you can do. You can't complete it. It's done, and I think, and that's pretty much the end of it. I don't believe there's anything you can do because it's already an event that has been completed. Let's move on to the final and I think the most important aspect of the shrine, and that is offering. It's reason enough to have your shrine at a high level because offering is just so extremely important. First thing to know about offering is you have this button down here. You can offer gems and you can offer tributes. What I personally do, and you might choose to do this, you might choose to do less, you might choose to do more, it's really up to you. I offer 6 times per day. I did a little more here just to demonstrate something when I did a recording earlier and it didn't work out because I forgot to turn on my microphone. But it'll end up looking at like 400 gems is my next one. I'll kind of demonstrate that again after. But if you offer gems, it starts off at 25 and then it kind of goes up and up and up, and then it caps off at 1,500 per offering. You very rarely want to go up to 1,500 unless you're purposefully trying to do something. And I'll talk about some of the reasons you might do that later. When you do offer, the immediate thing that you get is this kind of buff here. You don't really see what it does, but what it does is for every time you offer, you double the city's production speed for 2 hours. It's also something you'll see in the city buffs here. It says all resource production plus 100%. So that just means your food, your lumber, your ore, your stone, everything that is produced by your in-city resource tiles is going to be increased by, well, double. Okay, so that's an immediate reward you get. Another thing that you do get as kind of a side reward is the prestige and monarch experience, and that is just so important, and it's really why I spend so much time talking about offering. You really want to be building up, of course, your monarch experience. Everybody knows that. Everybody wants to get to monarch level 35 so that you can do all your talent points and so on. I mean, that's important, absolutely. And you'll get there eventually, and that's one of the best sources of Monarch experience, it's through offering. The other thing, though, that people sometimes neglect is prestige. So prestige is what you are ranked by when you click on rankings and rank rankings. So the ranks that you can achieve are things like Duke, Archduke, you have Knight way at the bottom. All these different ranks give you something. If you're just a Knight, for example, you are already getting, you might not know it, but 5% increased training speed, healing speed, and the thing that I ask here is 5% from what? If everybody's getting this at the base layer, then how are you being increased? There's nobody that's not a Knight. So I don't know. That's just a weird idea here. But as you increase in rank, because your prestige and your ranking requirements go up, your ranking requirements don't go up, but your prestige goes up. As your prestige goes up and your rank goes up, then you unlock greater rewards. And the most important one of those greater rewards, in my opinion, is the subordinate city capacity. So if you manage to get all the way up to these upper ranks here, you're now at +6 subordinate cities. I'm not there. I'm one below that. But for me, for example, I have 8 subordinate cities, which means you could potentially have 9 subordinate cities if you are, or I could have potentially had 9 subordinate cities if I'm max rank there, which hopefully I'll get to at some point. So it is very valuable because not only do you get a city, which offers you an additional city buff like this, but it also allows you to equip another subordinate city general that you use in attacks or defenses, and that subordinate city general, of course, can be equipped with debuff gear, which is very, very valuable in combat. So for example, you'll start to put on some equipment like this, where you can debuff your enemy and make it so that their defense, HP, and attack for their troops is reduced, so you are more effective in your attack or your defense. So the more subordinate cities you have, it just creates a huge advantage over your enemies. And that's why prestige is really so important. So I talked about I do about 6 offerings per day of gems, and I do not offer my tributes. The reason I don't offer my tributes, and I say do not offer, but I don't offer them daily, is because I like to stockpile them. So as I get alliance points, and I build those up through alliance science and just participating in stuff, what I'll do is I'll come down here and I'll spend them on tributes. Oh, I didn't know you could even buy it as much as you can right away. Cool. They changed this. This is nice. You used to have to click, 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 and it would take a whole lot of time to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and spend all my points on tributes, and boom. I never buy anything else from Alliance Science. I always buy tributes. And the reason I do that is because when I was not Monarch 35 and I was trying to increase it, what I would do is every 2 months, I would stockpile my tributes. So I get like 200 or 300. And then I would come here on one day and I would just offer until, see how they're increasing by 1,000? Now they're increasing by 1,500. It doesn't go beyond that. So like if I go to 63 here, it's still going to go 1,500, 1,500. So what I would do is I look for the point where it goes 1,500. And I'll offer that amount of gems. And when I do that, what happens is, look at the prestige here. It says plus 360 and Monarch experience plus 48,000. It has now increased to 444 and 48,000. So if I max that up to where it's 1,500 per day, when I offer my tribute, I'm getting the biggest bang for my buck. I'm getting a max prestige, max Monarch experience offering of my tribute. If I did it where it was only 25 or 50 or 100, I'm not getting as much as I could get. So that's why I like to stockpile it. And then when I get to that 1,500, I'll just go boom, here's all 300 of my tributes, and I'll get a whole lot of Monarch experience and a whole lot of prestige. And that's really the way that you should do that. Right now I'm just stockpiling them. I'm not using them because I'm already capped for Monarch experience. So if Keep 40 ever comes out, I'll be able to spend those finally. There's one more thing I want to talk about in the offering section, and that's these flags here, which represent what you get for the King's Protection. So as your rank increases, and this is all going to happen just as you play, you'll see that my King's Protection here, what I get is some buffs and so on. I can activate my King's Protection by offering 20 times in a day. It's not something I would do often, but if I know that there's like maybe like the finals of Battlefields or something like that, where I want to have as much true power as possible, I might go ahead and activate that. So it's something that can just, buff you up if you really need it, but don't feel compelled to do 20 offerings per day. I mean, in my opinion, that's pretty excessive. It'd be a lot better to save your tributes up and then do one big unload on some kind of a day that you strategize to get a lot of Monarch experience and a lot of prestige. That's about it for Shrine. I don't think I have anything else here to discuss that I can think of here. Pretty sure I've got everything I need to. Yep, so that's about it. I do want to say another thank you to the channel members. I have a couple of channel members that are helping out, and it is very appreciated that you are there to support. And if you did want to join as a channel member, just click the join button, and there are a couple different options there. And I have modified the final one, the laid on version, a little bit for people that are interested in some additional support. Just like if you want to be contacting me directly, and I don't know, where we can talk and I can help support your growth in the game. If that is something that is interesting to you, then you're probably looking for the laid on membership. But I'm very happy to answer questions here and there. It's just for people that want a more in-depth kind of look from me on ways that you could improve. But thank you everyone that does support the channel. It is very appreciated, and that's about it from me here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.